welcome to Brentwood's Empowerment Breakfast.
Sponsored by the Making Great Men's Ministry.
Welcome to Making Great Men Empowerment Breakfast.
Mr. Williams, I understand that this project here is your brainchild.
Yeah, this was developed about 5 years ago through our head pastor, Dr. Joseph Radcliffe, and myself, and another core group of guys to come together and bring our men's ministry under one umbrella so that we can empower our young men and do it at a better rate, to sort of say with more influence from different men in the congregation.
Okay. And so what do you use as some of your benchmarks to gauge kind of the success of this project?
What we do is that what we try to do is try to get the young boys to go from, if they're in trouble and headed in the wrong direction, if we could just save one, then our efforts won't go in vain.
Right.
This is usually a very costly event that costs us. We bring some of the top-notch speakers from all over the country. And like today, we have Coach Jim Caldwell of the Detroit Lions. And so we bring top quality speakers to come in and elicit the participation of the young men to be a part of the success stories of these fellas that we bring in. And like I said, if we could just save one, then no matter what the dollar amount, is all worth it.
Okay, good deal. In terms of, I guess, just stats around like attendance, do you normally have,
Yeah, we run about almost 400 people to this event.
Okay.
Yeah, it sells out pretty quickly. Matter of fact, the tickets sell for 5 weeks, and we're done pretty much in about 3.5 weeks.
Wow.
And so then we have people scrambling for tickets, and we're trying to set up extra tables to accommodate the other parishioners who want to come.
Any standing room only?
You better know it. That's the only way to do it. It's the only way to do it.
All right, good deal. Well, it sounds like you guys have been doing this for how many years now?
Almost 5 years now.
5 years? Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Some of the past speakers were Al Sharpton, Reverend Johnny Youngblood, of course, Dr. Caldwell, Dr. Rod Page, and then National President of the Alpha Phi Alpha, Harry Johnson.
Okay. And this is an event held once a year?
Once a year.
Okay.
Once a year.
Well, good deal. Well, it looks like the people are rolling in, and you're going to have another great turnout today. So, we wish you well with this.
Thank you so much. Glad you guys came by to be a part of it. And we want you to just enjoy yourself and have a good time with it.
Thank you. Michael Harris here with INTV, and with me is Coach Jim Caldwell, head coach of the Detroit Lions. And Coach Caldwell, welcome to Houston.
Yeah, it's a real pleasure to be here.
I'd like to start by asking you, since we're here for the Men's Empowerment Breakfast, in your own words, can you tell me what empowerment means to you?
Well, one of the things I think is it all kind of leads back to leadership, because I think that's our most important job, and those of us that are in leadership positions is to empower those that are certainly working with us. I have a lot of young men in my charge, and one of the things that I think is my ultimate goal is to create new leadership every day, because I think once you do that, the empowerment starts to sort of take care of itself. So that's our ultimate charge.
Okay, that's a good definition. It kind of puts it in perspective for us. Now, since this is a breakfast, I kind of have food on my mind. If you think about an omelet, there's certain things that make up a really good omelet. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Now, if we use that analogy to empowerment, what are some of the key ingredients that you think are necessary to have, I'd say, healthy empowerment?
Well, one of the things that we're going to talk about a little bit to the young people and also those that are in attendance, the adults, is that I think there are kind of 6 real key pillars, and one is being competency. Being able to be competent in what you do. Humility is extremely important.
Okay.
Authenticity, motivation, passion, and service. And I think those 6 things kind of give you a pretty good recipe, I think, for a great omelet.
Wow. That's good teaching. I don't know if I should call you Coach or Professor Caldwell.
Coach will do.
Okay. Now, if we kind of think back on some of your life experiences, I'm sure there were some things that happened along the way that kind of empowered you to position yourself to be successful in the role of a head coach. Would you like to share one of those experiences?
Well, I think number one is that we all have goals in life, and I learned a long time ago. My father told me you could basically do anything and be anyone you want to be if you set your mind to it and put a plan together.
Right.
A lot of us talk about it, a lot of us dream about it, but we don't put a plan in place. And I think that teaching in itself sort of gave me an opportunity to kind of look at where I wanted to go and then put a plan of action together and then follow that plan. So it takes discipline to get that done. More so than anything else, his wisdom certainly propelled me to where I am today.
Okay. And the fact that you still hold the NFL record for the most wins as a rookie head coach would suggest that that plan is working for you.
Well, it also suggests we have some pretty good players.
They had to have a good leader, as you pointed out.
Obviously, I think there's a little bit of both, but oftentimes I think when you look at the National Football League, the teams that have a very fine quarterback, and that year, obviously, Peyton Manning was absolutely at his best.
Right.
We had a good staff of guys that have been around and had worked previously with Coach Dungy. So we had a good nucleus, and we had a lot of players that, without question, were empowered and certainly took the team and had some accountability along the way with it, and certainly took it as their own and ran with it.
Good. Now, I guess to sort of wrap up here, when I think about empowerment and delegation, the two kind of almost sound related. I mean, in your opinion, is there a difference, and if so, what? Or are there similarities, and if so, what?
Yeah, I think that there are some similarities, because I think more so when we talk about delegation, I think everybody needs a little bit of autonomy.
Right.
There's reward and there's autonomy. And the autonomy is the fact that you allow them to sort of flex their muscles a little bit, allow them to do their job. I have coordinators that work under me, an offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and a special teams coordinator. And what you can't do is just stay over their shoulder the entire time, right? Because then obviously the guys that they're teaching look to you rather than them.
Right.
You have to allow them enough room to grow and develop.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess to wrap it up here, any parting words of wisdom that you would like to leave with our listening audience in terms of empowerment?
Well, the big thing I think is that work at it. It takes a work ethic to get it done. Malcolm Gladwell says it takes 10,000 hours to become, a professional, really proficient at what you do.
Right.
And that's a lot of hard work that's involved. Regardless of the endeavor, you got to put the time in.
Okay. Well, good. Well, thank you for this time, Coach Caldwell. And for our listening audience, I hope you've enjoyed this interview as much as I've enjoyed conducting it.
First one is being competent in what you do. That's the number one thing. You want to talk about being a leader? Be good at what you do, right? Having suitable or sufficient skill, knowledge, or experience is extremely important. So one of the things that's always stuck with me, one of the first things that I read about coaching early on was written by this guy named Fielding Yost. And here's what he said. He said, to me, no coach in America ever asked a player to make a sacrifice. He asked that he do just the opposite. Live clean, come clean, think clean. Stop doing all the things that hurt you mentally, physically, and morally, and start doing the things that make you keener, finer, and more competent. Isn't that what it's all about? Becoming keener, finer, and more competent in everything we do. Malcolm Gladwell put it this way, right? He said that there takes 10,000 hours of hard work in order to perfect your craft. 10,000 hours. That's some time. That doesn't just happen. And I think every single time you see a success story or you see someone who's done well, check the background. Check the hard work that's involved, right? It doesn't come just easily. Young people sometimes think it's supposed to come instantaneously, right?
We're live at NTV in Houston, Texas. We are at the Empowerment Breakfast at Brentwood Baptist Church. And my name is Edgar Rayford, and Thank you for joining in. And today we're speaking with a gentleman that came all the way from San Antonio, Texas. Who are you, sir?
I'm Brandon Falkway.
And Brandon, where you're from San Antonio. Who are you with?
We are with the San Antonio Kappa League.
Okay.
It's a very great organization, leadership and development. We mentor youth of my age, of course, high school, middle school, so ages 12 to 17. It's a very good program.
Okay. Now, I know you had the opportunity to talk with or listen to the speech that was given to you by head football coach Jim Caldwell. What did you think about it?
The speech was very motivational. It taught me due diligence and persistence through everything. What I got most out of it was just leadership through adversity. Being able to come over things in your life and be able to go through with it. That's just one thing that I took from Mr. Jim Caldwell, and it's just gonna stick with me forever.
Okay. Can you introduce the guys that are with you?
Oh yes. Behind me is Keyshawn Williams. My back left is Anthony Cathcart, and in the far back is Shakori Ware.
Guys, what do you think? Keyshawn, what did you think about Mr. Caldwell's talk today?
Being that my dreams are to one day be drafted into the NFL, I thought it was a very surreal experience to have the chance to listen to one of the greatest coaches of our generation at the moment.
Okay, so sounds like you want to play football, right?
Most definitely.
Anybody that inspires you right now?
He's not currently an NFL player anymore, but like I said, Ray Lewis was definitely a role model to me. Just the way that he stepped on the field and led his team, and just that he went beyond football in order to make people better.
Okay, all right. Anthony, do you play football?
Well, I don't at the moment, but I'm getting ready to this next upcoming season.
What did you get from Coach Caldwell's speech today?
Well, it was very motivational and well spoken, and it taught a lot about humility, because being in any sport or anything you do, people are going to hype you up and tell you how great you are, but you have to feel that like you're not better than anyone else, that we're all working for the same goal, trying to do the same thing.
Okay, and come on in here, big tall guy. What is your name, sir?
Shakori.
Shakori, what did you get from the speech from Coach Caldwell today?
Well, the one thing that really stood out to me was the motivation part of the speech, because I want to be somebody that motivates people just like he motivated me just now.
Okay, and what was the one thing that you took from what he said? I know you said motivation. Is that the only thing you took, or is it something else?
No, you always have to have a success type of mentality to always go out there and get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. I understand what you mean. So we're here talking with the San Antonio Kappa League for NTV. Hope you're having a good day. Back to the studio.
Wow, we had an outstanding time today at the Making Men Great Empowerment Breakfast. Tell you, Coach Jim Caldwell was an outstanding and motivational speaker. If you ever get an opportunity to hear him, I would strongly encourage you to do so.
Thank you for coming to Brentwood's Empowerment Breakfast.